Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's lecture is about one of the most dynamic barriers of the body, and that is known as blood-brain barrier. Till date, the functionality and organization of the blood-brain barrier is very poorly understood. However, with the advancement of the science and technology, along with imaging and molecular techniques, now we are able to understand what blood-brain barrier is and how the blood-brain barrier can be targeted to improve the drug delivery system into the central nervous system. As I am saying that it is a barrier, that means it is an obstacle or it is present between something and that is restricting the flow of the substances into the inner core. So this class is divided into three lectures or three subparts, and in first part we'll introduce ourselves to the topic blood-brain barrier. In the second part we'll understand the tight junctional dynamics which is present between the endothelial cells, and in the third part of this lecture we'll understand how these tight junctions are regulated, by virtue of which they are regulating or restricting the flow of certain substances from the blood to the brain. In layman language I can say this is formed by a group of cells between the blood capillaries of the brain and the brain tissues. Here the blood is not directly exposed to the neural parenchyma. It means we have to understand what basically a blood-brain barrier is and how the blood-brain barrier is organized. So before going into the details of the lecture, I should not forget to take the name of a famous scientist, Ridley, 1665, when he was the first person to note that there is a differential permeability of the dye is there in the brain tissues, and that was the first famous experiment, but at the time it was not known as blood-brain barrier. The second set of experiments were carried out by the famous Paul Ehrlich during 20th century, where he also observed there is a clear-cut demarcation or barrier between the brain cells and the blood capillaries. But he was not the person to coin the word blood-brain barrier. But it was the striking sets of experiment by Lena Stern, the neuroscientist. This group, Lena Stern and her group, discovered and coined the first time in the history of brain science that's known as blood-brain barrier. So it was Lena Stern's work which was first time laid down the concept that the blood is not directly in contact with the neural parenchyma, and thereafter the electron microscopic structure, the structural differences of different cells, the endothelial organization, the astrocytic envelops were extensively studied during 1960s and 70s by another group of scientists using electron microscopy, and those two scientists, they laid down the concept of blood-brain barrier structure and function. And I will write this history one by one, but that was research work, or I can use the word Kanor-Vasky. The scientist, the researcher, and Kanor-Vasky was the scientist to use electron microscope to study blood-brain barrier. So let's begin. What's the blood-brain barrier is, then we'll draw a beautiful diagram to explain what actually blood-brain barrier is. So this is introduction. Now coming to the introductory or the foundation points. Blood-brain barrier. You will surprised to know that in the brain there are three barriers are there: brain CSF barrier, brain arachnoid barrier, brain blood or blood brain barrier. In this particular lecture we are concerned about this, but as it is a series of lectures, I will also explain them in my coming lectures. Blood brain barrier, it is very famous, it's known as BBB. It's a tight junctional barrier which is formed by four important structures, and that makes this barrier very specialized. The first one is the endothelial cells. The endothelial cells. These endothelial cells are nothing but these are the inner lining cells of the blood vessel or the blood capillary. Here I use the word blood capillary. And these are the endothelial cells. This point to be noted. These are the endothelial cells which form the tight junctions. And these tight junctions are present at the paracellular border, that is basolateral border. They will start from the apical side, but they are not present in the apical side. They are present in the basal and lateral surface. So these tight junctions in the endothelial cells, they are the master form of this blood-brain barrier. Now coming to the second one. After endothelial cells, then to my mind, another word comes, that is the pericyte. A contractile smooth muscular cell, irregular in shape, depend in the basal lamina surrounding the endothelial cells. These are 1:10 ratio or 1:8 ratio along the capillaries. These are the cells which are said to be having thousands of functions, but they are less touched. But now in the modern era of neuroscience and vascular biology, pericytes are emerging as one of the master regulator cells of cellular function and cellular signaling. We'll discuss in vivid how these pericytes are forming the important functional organization around the blood-brain barrier, and they form the integral part of this blood-brain barrier. These pericytes are the surrounding cells or the mural cells along the endothelial cells. That means they surround the endothelial cells. We'll see what are their function. Next, the third important cell which comes to my mind is the astrocyte food process. That we will discuss in detail, that how these astrocytes are forming the processes along the capillaries. For your information, these are non-nervous cells, 55% of the total neural tissue. They are not having the conducting or the transmitting or the irritability function like the neurons. They are known as the glia cells, that means glue-like cells, that forms the matrix or the parenchyma in the neural tissue. They are supportive in nature, having an array of functions. We'll discuss one by one. I have a master lecture on astrocyte. Please do not forget to visit the channel and see how the astrocytes bring out the process. So here, the astrocyte food process or the food pads, they surround 90% or more parts of the capillaries, blood capillaries, along with the endothelial cells and pericytes. Particularly, that is that process which forms an integral part of this barrier. We'll discuss that. So astrocyte food pads or the food processes, these are the processes of the astrocytes, and they are present surrounding the endothelial cells. I'll draw one by one so you can understand endothelial cells. And then the fourth part comes. The fourth part is the basal lamina. I'll draw that diagram, or I can use also the word basement membrane. This is said to be the scaffold for this blood-brain barrier, and this is present along the endothelial cells. This is present along the pericytes. The pericytes are also merged in the basement membrane or the basal lamina. So we'll see how these structures are forming this blood-brain barrier. Next, before going into the structural organization, I should not forget to mention the functionality. So whatever I'm writing in red, they are the indicators of functionality. The number one, reduced permeability to neural tissues. This is number 1 point. Number 2, separation of endothelial and abluminal surface. Number three, semi-permeability. So semi-permeability is another nature. Number four, polarity and reduced charge transfer. We'll discuss one by one, but yes, these are the functions. The next function, restricted movement of ions, drugs, antibiotics and microbes. Next, I am writing some of the functions in the blue pen. So these are the functions: number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. It is one of the most important, number 5. Next, regulation of metabolic functions and signaling in neural tissues. How important this function is. This is the 6th function and the important function. Next, reduced immunological interface. This is another important point. The immunological cells, they are not having the direct access into the neural tissues. Next, protection of privileged, means important, privileged neurons. So this is 7th function. This is 8th function. Now I am writing some of the functions in green. So just see this blood-brain barrier, that is regulation of synthesis and transport of neurotransmitters. This is another very, very important function of this blood-brain barrier. This is 9th one. And the 10th one is regulation of gases, respiratory gases and nutrients, because we know that the brain cells are metabolically very, very active. This is the 10th function. So these functions are quite regulated by this highly dynamic structure known as the blood-brain barrier. So with this first part comes to the end. Now let's draw the master diagram where we'll show the components of the blood-brain barrier and we'll try to understand why this is known as a barrier.